So the first exercise that I'm going to show you today is the cat and camel, or cat and cow. So what you want to do, you want to start with your knees placed directly underneath your hips and your hands directly underneath your shoulders, making sure your shoulders are pulled back away from your ears, drawing them down towards your bum. And then you're going to tuck the tailbone, rounding into the back, pressing the spine up towards the ceiling, and then spread the shoulder blades apart away from the spine. Then you're going to lift the tailbone up to the sky, dropping the belly towards the floor and lifting the chest forwards, really emphasizing the shoulders sliding down the back in that position. The biggest emphasis here as well is also to try and arch that upper back, the thoracic spine, downwards towards the ground. And always remember to keep the shoulders away from the ears. Next exercise we're going to do is a bird dog, so making sure you're pressing into the hands so your scapula are set nicely, not collapsing downwards. Make sure it's strongly set so you get both shoulders nice and level. And then with that position, we're going to extend one leg out, making sure the back is nice and flat, and then lifting one arm up alongside the ear. Again, making sure you're not collapsing into the supporting arm, but pressing it into the ground so that you've got a nice, strong and straight body. Next, we're going to do some shoulder squeezes. So starting lying flat on your tummy, slide the hands down the thighs, pinky finger towards the sky. And we're going to gently lift the shoulders away from the floor and slowly release them down. Squeeze the shoulder blades towards the spine and release them towards the floor. Making sure that the shoulders are pulling away from the ears again, so not hunched up around the ears, but sliding down the back. So the point of this exercise is to strengthen the muscles in between the shoulder blades, sort of your lower traps and rhomboids and mid traps, rather than utilizing and favoring the upper traps, which result in shrugging the shoulders up around towards the ears at the base of the neck. So we're really trying to focus on drawing those shoulders down and breaking those bad habits of being all shrugged up. Following your shoulder squeezes, you're going to maintain the shoulders squeezed towards the spine, front of the shoulders pulling away from the floor, and you're going to do alternating pinky to sky lifts without letting those shoulders drop. So this is going to work into the backs of those triceps and reinforcing that open chested position. End of that, you can just hold the shoulders squeezed together like the pinky fingers squeezing up to the sky, and then slowly release. Next, we're going to do some scapular protraction, so elbows directly under shoulders, making sure the shoulders are pulled away from the ears again, and then we're going to press the elbows into the floor, lifting the back towards the ceiling, and then slowly release it back down. So we're working the muscles that lie between the shoulder blade and the rib cage, so your serratus anterior. This helps to keep the shoulder blade lying flush on the back and avoids any winging. If there's winging in the scapula or forward rounding of the shoulder, this can cause impingements, so this one's quite nice to strengthen the serratus anterior and get a better shoulder blade position. You can hold that at the top just to reinforce with the isometric hold and make it a little bit stronger and push you for a little bit more of a challenge. Grabbing a foam roller, you're going to have a sit on your bum with your knees bent, feet flat on the floor, and then you're just going to do a posterior pelvic tilt and draw the rib cage down towards the hips for some overhead thoracic stretches. These can be done with a weight, or if you prefer to start without a weight initially just to get a feel for it, go ahead. So really keeping the rib cage drawn down towards the hips so you're not arching over the back. We're working just down under the lats, under the armpits, stretching overhead and just trying to create a little bit more space. So you can see You're not going to lift the rib cage. The back is going to stay the same consistent distance away from the floor, just to emphasize that stretch in the upper body and the arms specifically. Alternatively, you can do this lying on the foam roller. Again, pelvic tilt posteriorly, rib cage drawn down towards the hips, and you can reach overhead towards the ground with that weight, not letting that lower back rise up off the roller. To break some of the bad habits of sitting at our desks all day, we're going to do some overhead floor angels. So these can be practiced just on the ground, or if you want to increase that range of motion, you can do this on a foam roller, making sure the shoulders are not up around the ears. You're going to have the arms in sort of a cactus position or looking like a goalposts for American football. And you're just going to reach the hands overhead and try and get the hands and the elbows to touch the ground. Not forcing anything, and making sure that your thoracic region is pulling down into the roller again, so all of the work is happening sort of in the arms, stretching down the lats. Next, we're going to do what we call one arm to heaven. So you're going to grab an elastic. You can do a double looped elastic, or you can just use a normal elastic, one end in each hand, and you're going to keep one arm up to the sky and squeeze the elastic out to the side, making sure you're squeezing from the shoulder blade, not just rotating inside that arm like that. You're going to wrap that shoulder blade towards the spine, keeping a nice strong arm. Other arm is stable directly above the shoulder, making sure that the arm is not drifting up around towards the face or down towards the hips. So the stabilizing arm is nice and strong. You can do one arm at a time, or you can alternate between the arms as well. You've got both options. Again, working on the serratus anterior, we're going to do some air punches. So you're going to place a weight directly above the shoulder with a nice strong neutral wrist. You can do this with a weight or without a weight. And you're going to press the weight up towards the ceiling, spread the shoulder blade away from the spine, lifting the shoulder away from the floor. Try not to use too much of the pectoral, the chest muscle, to do this. Focus on the movement coming from the shoulder blade sliding around the rib cage. And as always, shoulders away from the ears. We're going to get a thoracic stretch in. You might get into the lower back as well. Whatever's tightest will stretch first. You might even stretch under the arms. So this one's called puppy pose. You're going to keep the hips directly above the knees, bums in the air, and stretch those arms forward. The goal here is to get your chest onto the ground. When you're ready, after about 30 seconds of holding the puppy pose, you're going to thread the needle, taking one arm underneath the other armpit, and then placing the forward arm in front of the face or behind the lower back, allowing you to twist the shoulders, stacking them one on top of the other, opening the chest up to the sky. Holding there again for about 30 seconds before moving on to the other side. If you can, tuck that top arm into the inner thigh of the back leg. Moving on to some thoracic mobility, you're going to come onto the elbows, hips are directly above the knees, place one hand behind the head, and then start rotating, lifting the elbow up to the sky. So you want to squeeze the elbow up to the sky using the muscles in the back and the shoulder blade, but also try use that bottom supporting arm to help leverage pushing the bottom shoulder forwards as you rotate, lifting the elbow to the sky. Lying on your side, you're going to bend the knees forward, keeping the feet in line with the bum. Knees are stacked one on top of the other, hips are stacked as well. Stretching the arms forward, you're going to open and close those hands. Trying as much as possible to keep those knees glued together. So don't let that top knee stretch back. You want to keep both knees pressing forwards. The stretch comes in the back and across the chest as the arms and shoulders reach down to the ground. You'll notice that one side is more flexible or easier to do the movement than the other. This is pretty normal. Try not to strain too much in the neck. If you are taking strain, you can use a pillow underneath your head, but follow the hand with your gaze. It'll help you open up that little bit easier. If any of the exercises done today cause you any form of discomfort or aggravate your pain, rather don't do them, and it would be better to consult a specialist or an exercise therapist, a biokineticist obviously, to help you figure out how to do these properly in a way that doesn't hurt or aggravate any of your factors. If you liked this video or found it very helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel for more useful, hopefully useful videos in the future. Have a fantastic day.